Welcome back to Grand Thrift Auto. If you've been following the adventures of this, the 1976 Lotus Elite, then I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. First, the good news. I hope you'll agree that's very good news. And a very nice sound of a slightly cold but otherwise smooth running Lotus 907 2-litre 16 valve engine. The slightly less good news is that the brakes are stuck on. Yes, I've taken it for a shakedown round the block already, and the result of that was that when I parked it up, the brakes stuck on. The even worse news is that these are inboard drum brakes on the back, which are, well, drum brakes are always a pain to get to, and inboard doubly so, because you have to have the car up on a ramp to get at them. You can't just take the wheels off. Getting one of these up on a ramp is a challenge because the body is made of fiberglass and the backbone chassis has to be jacked up very carefully, otherwise you bend it and then need a new chassis. So we don't want to do that. So I'm hoping I can just free them off with a bit of rocking back and forth and a bit of little bit of use, and we'll see how we go with that, and then hopefully we can go for at least a quick run. I think those have freed themselves off. Right, I'm only going to do a fairly short shakedown, really, not a full review at this point. It's running a little bit hot, not worryingly so, but enough for me to think that there's maybe a bit of an airlock in the cooling system. Vibration through the steering. It's been parked a while. I think the tyres are flattened off slightly. That might sort itself out with a bit of running. It's running really nicely though. So yeah, 2-litre 16 valve, pretty advanced for the early 70s, and quite unusual. Lotus's own engine, the first engine that they built themselves for road cars anyway. This was Lotus moving out of the kit car mode and moving up market. It was the most expensive 4-cylinder car that you could buy when it was launched, and I think for a while after that too. The engine puts out somewhere between 155 and 160 brake horse, depending on who you believe, and this is the 2-litre. They enlarged it to a 2.2 a little bit later. Similar power output, but a bit more torque in that one. This is a bit top-endy, like multi-valve heads often are, but even so, there's plenty of there is plenty of torque, and the throttle response is really good. Twin Delauto 45 carbs, so big old carburetors, and they're bolted right next straight into the heads, so the throttle response is really good because there just isn't any distance for the fuel air mixture to travel before it goes into the into combustion. And it's a great noise. That's yeah, 0 to 60 is somewhere just below 8 seconds. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn around here. It's a pretty good turning circle. Fixing that fuel pump has done really good things for the running of it. It's had quite a lot of work done, this car. It had been off the road for a long time when I bought it, and it still looks a mess, and there's still quite a lot of niggles to iron out, but it's had the heads rebuilt, and the steering and the suspension seen to, and brake work and all of that good stuff. So by Lotus Bits up in Warwickshire, near Rugby, sort of Rugby Coventry way, and who are specialists in these cars, and who've done a really good job at sorting it out mechanically. That's a really red light that you just went through there, mate. Well, oh, hello.
Yes, I've stalled it, meaning a whole queue of cars missing their turn at these temporary traffic lights.
Made myself really popular there. If anybody in that queue behind me is watching this, then I apologise. That was really not deliberate. Yeah, that temperature gauge is sort of on the 100 mark, which is it's steady there. It's a little bit warmer than I'd like, so we'll maybe give it a coolant flush. Yeah, and maybe do something about the glove box catch. It's just tending to bog down a little bit when you pull away.
And that's stalled it again, and unfortunately this time it won't restart. I think it's flooded, and we'll need to leave it for the plugs to dry out a bit, and so in the meantime I'm just going to push it back into the shed and leave it for a little while to think about its behaviour.
So there you go, just a quick taster this time. Bit more work to do to, I think, sort out the cooling. I think it's just running hot, and then hopefully that will make it tip-top, and we can go for a bit more of a drive and talk about it. There is more work to do on the car. It needs some work done to the wiring. This paintwork is the most hideous paint job ever, I think, and the the one and only diff is a bit whiny, and so we'll have that sorted out as well. So it's a bit of a work in progress, but boy, it's worth it, because it's just such a hoot to drive. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you again soon.